with the European Union's decision to include shipping in its emissions trading scheme. Will that have any impact on your lube oil formulations?
The fuels that are marine fuels are a key factor in a ship operator, ship owner's ability to meet the EU's Fit for 55 aspirations for decarbonizing the industry. And I think as part of that will be the emissions trading scheme, or the ETS is a piece there. From a Chevron perspective, starting there, we are a industry leader in terms of producing energy solutions at lower carbon and reduced greenhouse gas emissions when we benchmark ourselves versus the industry. So Chevron's committed to being a player in this space for the long term. And when we think about what that means in the marine fuel space and the marine lubricant space, in fuels, it's clear that there's going to be a number of fuel solutions out there for the industry to utilize, whether it be from LNG, biofuels, methanol, ammonia, e-fuels, all are going to be part of that basket of fuels available to the industry. I think what's going to be important for Chevron is to choose where we want to participate in those value chains. So we're already supplying biofuels to ship owners out of our facilities in Singapore, and we're evaluating opportunities to do that in other markets. From a lubricants perspective, our lubricating solutions are going to coincide with the fuel choices for our customers. We have years of experience with methanol and LNG vessels, and we are investing in our technical capabilities to have lubricating solutions for the other fuels as they come to market.
Regional regulations like the European ETS. What role do you think they should have worldwide?
In terms of Europe's traditionally led the way from an environmental regulation perspective, and that's a good thing for all industries. Now, when we think about the marine sector, though, it's a global business, and so Chevron would number one, we support science-based standards when it comes to setting targets for industries. So that's point one. Point two, we do believe that that it's more efficient to have global regulations and global objectives versus having regional ones. What that allows for is for ship owners, for OEMs, for the value chain that's necessary to support the marine sector, from fuels to lubricants to other commodities, to then make decisions about their businesses that'll meet the global standards rather than tailored solutions by country or continent or area of the world.
Do they have any impact on what you specifically do, or is it that your products are suitable for every region, whatever the environment?
From a Chevron perspective, based on what we have now, we are operating under the IMO standards. If the Fit for 55 requirements require us to do something above IMO 2030 or 2050, we'll certainly comply.
Let's move on to your latest lube oil, the Taro Ultra Advanced 40. What can you tell us about the initial impact of that?
Very happy about the commercialization process that went into play to bring Taro Ultra Advanced 40 to the marketplace. We received the no objection letter from MAN in April, and over the subsequent 4 months, we're able to commercialize the formulation and establish our first points of distribution. Now, what we chose to do during that process was to select individual ports and where we see the demand from our customers, and where we could scale up our supply capabilities to offer the product economically and reliably. That was point one. And as the business evolves and we see more and more customers shifting their buying decisions over to the Category 2 40BN oil, then we will expand our capabilities to serve and with the vision of having a global footprint.
How much of a complication is that for you as you plan, for example, what you offer to customers?
Yeah. So from a lubricants perspective, I'm actually quite confident that we'll be able to develop products to meet the lubricating needs of our customers regardless of the fuel. Because at the end of the day, what are we doing? We're managing cleanliness, lubricity, heat, friction, those types of elements. There's always going to be, whether it's metal on metal surfaces or heat transfer in components. So I think from that perspective, I'm confident that our formulators and technical teams will know what to do, and we have the relationships with the OEMs. What I'm more interested in is the signals that are being sent from the ship owners now around their new buildings and where they're making choices of what technologies to invest in. Because we're talking here, this is like a $1 trillion question for the industry. For the next 30 years, what engines are going to be produced to power the fleet of the future that'll run for the next through 2060, 2070, 2080. And so one of the large global conglomerates recently announced that the construction of methanol vessels. That's a clear signal to where they where they see the industry going. We also see other conglomerates investing in dual fuel. The ammonia, I think, is another one where there have been some announcements about the construction of ammonia ships. I think subsequent to all of these announcements, we also have to look for then where's the industry investing in because all of these fuels will have to be bunkered somewhere and be produced and then bunkered. And so I think there's going to be a lot of demand signals coming from a variety of sources, and so that therefore I think that's a much more interesting dynamic to consider. But from a lubricating perspective, I'm confident that we'll have the products to support the industry.
Do they talk to you about what their expectations are? How are you managing expectations?
Having those deep relationships with our customers and with the OEMs and the and industry consortiums definitely gives us insights into what the industry is thinking about. I think that in this period of COVID-19, one aspect of our business that many of just about every business has been disruption, right? It'd be one way to describe the environment we've been living in, and that's led to various supply constraints, whether it was the economic effect of these government-driven lockdowns, or then coupled with natural disasters that continue to happen across the world. We've seen a massive amount of disruption. So I think being a reliable supplier during this period has been a differentiating factor for Chevron with respect to how our clients view us. So that's I think that performance level gives us credibility, right? So from an operating perspective, Chevron Marine Products has always been on the forefront from a technical standpoint, and that's one thing that we differentiate. That's an element of our business that we differentiate ourselves versus the competition. And so if we think about where that's best demonstrated is in our oil monitoring service, our fast service that we have for the industry. That ranges from onboard analyzers that we provide to our customers to providing oil monitoring service and with real technical experts evaluating the oil condition and reporting any concerns to our customer and helping then drive the purchase decisions around their lubricating for their lubricating needs is something that we've been able to demonstrate even throughout from before the pandemic and over the last few years. We do believe in the simple concept of lower carbon, higher returns. So we think there's value, there's economic value for the company, for our shareholders, and for our customers and stakeholders in this space. So I think we're going to continue to invest in that also. But I think those signals are important for our customers, especially the ones that are thinking about how they position their fleets and their businesses to be successful. So my perspective on how the customers will benefit, and let's stay in the maritime sector, is these ship owners and operators of fleets, especially when we think about container fleets, LNG vessels, crude oil transporters. They're going to ostensibly have to operate in a lower carbon world as well, right? Whether that's meeting the EU's aspirations for as defined by Fit for 55, or by if we look at the IMO 2030 and IMO 2050 requirements. I think it's going to be absolutely necessary for a ship operator to reduce their carbon footprint and the greenhouse gas emissions associated with their operations. There's only so much benefit they can get from, say, slow steaming and investing in more efficient hardware or kit inside of their vessels. Ultimately, the choice of fuel, the associated lubricating technologies for those fuels, those are going to become an important piece of this equation. And so for a company like Chevron, we are investing $10 billion by 2028 in businesses and ventures that we see as reducing, as providing value in a lower carbon world. And so that could be in technologies around carbon capture, utilization, and storage. It could also be in technology and capability to produce biofuels and feedstocks for those biofuels in an economic fashion. And so I think having supply of lower carbon fuels, having technologies to lubricate the vessels using lower carbon fuels, and then having also solutions around carbon capture is all going to be a way that Chevron can offer our customers solutions, and ideally that means that they'll have strong businesses for the long term.
I imagine COVID presented some challenges for servicing your customers, but do you think any of the lessons that you've learned from that will become part of your business model going forward?
I'm really excited about where we're going in terms of digital solutions. During the, let's call it the COVID periods of 2020, 2021, and the first quarter of 2022, we held several webinars where we brought together subject matter experts from Chevron and from our customers and the OEMs to share perspectives on fuels, on lubricating technologies, on industry matters. And I think those types of discussions were typically held at the conferences that would happen once, twice a year. And I think what we've learned is, hey, we can plug in for an hour and a half with subject matter experts and give our customers access to those subject matter experts, listen to them debate the issues of in our industry, and have time for Q&A. So for me, I like that model because it allows for sharing of information that can be then duplicated and disseminated very efficiently to our customers. So that's one thing that we'll continue doing. Secondly, what I'd say is the embracing of the agile mindset around collaborating with our customers and internally within Chevron, but I'll stay on the customer basis. So as we've dealt with so many supply challenges, we've had to stand up response teams to ensure that our customers we were able to supply our customers reliably, and those teams were often staffed with members from our customers' procurement and operations teams, as well as from our side, from Chevron's side. And so I think that type of collaboration adds value across the board. It allows us to be a better supplier for our customers, and allows our customers to then be a part of the solutions when it comes to dealing with these challenges. So that agile framework, I think, was enabled by the shift to this digital working world, if you will, during the pandemic.
I guess by making these sort of discussions available to customers, it's giving them guidance that perhaps they aren't finding elsewhere.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing now in the last 2 years, some of the ship owners are leaning in and making bets on where the fuels technologies are going. Others are waiting and seeing. And so it's having an open dialogue about what's happening in the industry from our perspective, where we have the advantage of being an LNG producer, an LNG transporter. We have our own shipping company. We have an additives company. We have a base oil company. We have a lubricants company. So really we have we have a trading organization that deals with biofuels. So and now we have a biofuels manufacturer and a feedstock company. So we really carry the full suite of products in this value chain. And so for our perspective, we are bringing in some of those subject matter experts from other parts of our business outside of the lubricants area to then educate our customers and on the issues of the time.
Well, thanks, Pat. We're pretty much out of time, but it's clear there are some important decisions to be made, both by Chevron and your customers. So thanks for your insights.
Thank you for your time, Paul. Appreciate it.